Hi everybody and welcome. I'm Rusty Nelson and welcome to my gallery here in Kennett Square, PA. You know, I just started packing for a trip down to a place in Florida called The Villages. Now The Villages is a over 55 plus community, retirement community that's got a lot of stories about it, 120 plus thousand homes, 50 golf courses or something like that. And anyway, as I was doing that and packing my photography gear, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel about that, about the trip down there. And so if anybody has any desire to learn about this place or wanna follow me along on that adventure, please jump over and go ahead and subscribe to that channel because it could be fun. I know it's an adventure. My camera takes me on great adventures, so who knows what this is going to turn out to be. But I started thinking as I was packing, over the last few years I've gotten a lot of questions on what camera equipment I use, what kind of furniture it is I have, what kind of computer I have, what kind of computer screen, microphones, printers. I've even gotten asked about frames and glass and everything else, so I decided what I'm going to do is run around the gallery with a camera here in no particular order. I'm just going to talk about all the stuff that's here, what equipment I have, and what equipment I'm packing to take down there, including my new camera and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, this is going to be really random, but you know, I always tell people to stop by the gallery. So if you stop by the gallery, don't be afraid to bring a bottle of Blanton's or a good bottle of tequila, because I'm always interested in drinking it. Or if you have some kind of really fun beer, that too. Always makes for good conversation. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll just start jumping around here and who knows what we'll end up seeing. So it's not polished, it's just gonna be jumping around as if you were here. Let's get started. Like I said, not really polished, kind of jumping from spot to spot. Once again, thank you so much for subscribing to that other channel. I'll put the links around someplace, but I really appreciate that. I have no idea what I'm going to get into with the drone or the camera or anything else. But I'm definitely going to go talk to the people at the photography club down there, so that's kind of cool. So first things first, frames. I got a couple stories about frames. When I first started shooting, I got in this habit to try to train myself of always shooting to and cropping to the dimensions of the sensor. So whatever I was looking at, that's what I saw through the sensor. Now there was two reasons for that. It was to train me to look around and make sure I see exactly what the camera was seeing instead of going up and clicking a picture off and saying, you know what, I'll just do that later. But it also helped later down the road because all of a sudden I found out that they started making digital mats, pre-cut frames that were already made, and it was a lot cheaper and it was a lot easier to find frames. You could just go to Michael's or Aaron Brothers at the time or whatever it is and go ahead and buy some stuff. And speaking of frames, the first gallery that I was in, it was a pretty nice gallery in LA, and I said, oh, what kind of frames? Because they didn't frame them, I had to frame them myself. And the gallerist said to me, Rusty, buy the cheapest frames you can. Cheap black frames. She goes, look at Ansel Adams frames. They had a whole collection of Ansel Adams stuff there. And she goes, look at those frames. They're just cheap black frames, and that's just the way it is because nobody's buying the frame, they're buying the image. So I took her advice, and then I took that one step further. For instance, you look at this frame right here. I went on to Facebook and I started hunting and pecking around and looked for some people selling stuff, and there were some architectural buildings and businesses that were going out of business that had a ton of these gorgeous 8-ply frames, the mats, really thick mats, and some really nice, you could tell they were custom-made frames that were really nice shape. And so I got a ton of those, really nice glass on them, and it made for, I think this cost me like $5 for the whole thing, including a really heavy mat. So anyway, that's just kind of some things with frames, and let's move on over to here, and I'll kind of shift the camera over a little bit to these images because I got kind of a fun story that I realized about not using glass. here we go. If you notice, they're all the same size. They're all just about sensor size. And they are all frames from Aaron Brothers or Michaels. One of the two, I can't, or maybe they're combined now, I have no idea. And the mats are actually really heavy mats. They're archival, and they originally had glass on the front of them. And they looked really nice, and people would come in and look at them. And one day, the neighbor on the other side, they started doing construction. They came over and knocked every single one of these off the wall. And there's glass everywhere, and you know, it's kind of comical looking. Anyway, I stuck them back up on the wall, and all of a sudden I kind of stepped back and I looked and I thought, wow, they look 3D. I almost can see into them. And all of a sudden I realized that without the glass on there, they sort of looked 3D, like I could stick my hand into the image. The glass, psychologically or whatever, seemed to put a, like a wall up, and that was it. And as soon as I did, and I kid you not, true story, the first people to come walking in through the door, a couple, both of them come up and they're looking and they're kind of going like this. And the guy turns around and he goes, these images, how come they look 3D? So anyway, here's a theory I came up with. All the other images except for these have glass on them. And these don't. There's one over there that doesn't have glass. Every single one of those ones without glass, people spend more time looking at. I have no idea why. Maybe it's because they can see the paper. This is etching paper, so it's really nice. So here's something I started to come up with. I do everything archival. And I was really anal about it. Oh, is it 100 years or 200 years? And I use all OEM inks. I use good paper. I use good mats. I use good backing. And then I started to realize these images stay up here. Now, these have been up here like this for a year without glass in them. And I actually make a second copy. So I've got a second copy stored over in the drawers that I'll show you in a few seconds. I pulled it out, it looks exactly the same. They haven't changed at all. So depending on how you feel, and especially if you're doing your own printing, I'm starting to think right now, I'm getting rid of the glass. And I'm just putting my images up like this, and I'll keep an archival print or a second copy and put it away because people seem to enjoy these much more. All right, let's move around to the next section here. That's enough of those stories anyway. So besides that, I'm not going to live for 200 years, and I am not Ansel Adams. Nobody's going to be keeping my pictures that long. So let's move on to these over here. Oh, I forgot one thing. You know, these coffee tables, you can find these old coffee tables with the glass tops in them. They make some really great ways to show off some of your images. This pulls out, so it's kind of like an old map table or whatever, and great way, really quick, just to like show off some of your artwork and some of your prints, whatever you have. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. Moving on. This is my black and white, some black and white stuff right here, and this is the only one that's an odd, not a sensor size, frame size, but this was printed on the Pro 1000 as a test print when they first came out with that new firmware that you could print like 40 some inches long on there. These cards right here, Red River cards, I love them. They're great. They're not expensive, and you print on the back, and I don't print anything on the insides, but I sign them with my thumbprint, and that's pretty cool, so I got a bunch of those. Books, I'm constantly reading about printing. So I will put a list of books down below, links. In fact, I'll try to link all this stuff up that I have so you can jump over. Most of it's on Amazon. My grandmother, she was, hopefully you can see that with not too much glare. But anyway, she was Miss Paramount from 1923 to 1925, and I never even knew it till after she passed away and went through a bunch of old pictures. You just never know these things, and now you wish you could talk to your grandparents. What was this all about, you know? So anyway, let's go ahead and keep moving on. All right, getting up here just simply because I do get questions about these. These are two different, I don't know, pots that I have or whatever, and it's on track lighting and it's on a dimmer. I like them because they have the barn doors on them. I also use it to light me a little bit once in a while. But anyway, that's what I use. I'll go ahead and put the links on there. There are a couple of PARs and some smaller LEDs that are in there. I'll put the bulbs on there anyway. But they are at 4,000. To me, it's just a happy medium. Everything in my place is at 4,000. So anyway, personal choice, not good or bad. I don't need any dissertations on 4,000, 5,000, 3,000. I understand the whole thing. I picked 4,000. Anyway, here we go. Moving on. This is the first thing that I used as my editing table. And we'll wait till we get to the big boy table over here. I ended up buying myself a new one. And it's really great. It acts as a table right now for this right here, which is how I decided to display my images. So this is a album, and you can get them custom made. I'll go ahead and put the link for it below. I think this is about $170, but it's etched with my name and photography in it, my signature. And as you can see, makes these are all 13 by 19. And it's not cheap, but it's a great way if you want to display some of your images on 13 by 19. And that's about it for that. This was my father's, and I can remember playing with this when I was a kid. I just liked seeing the flash go off. That was about it, so I used up all of his flashes. My everyday printer is a Canon TS9120. I'm not 100% sure they make this anymore, but they make one really close. I'll put the link to it. You can go check it out over on Amazon. But I really like it because it's for every day. It's got black pigment inks, and the other colors are dye inks. And I seem to get pretty good colors out of it. I'm happy with it. Now, I do my printing through QImage, as most of you know, and I don't know. It just makes it really easy. I can get some nice cardstock. The cards I print over there. And the next thing we're going to talk about is my first big printer here right behind me. Let's turn around and do that one. As they say, stop the tape. I was sitting here editing this and realizing it was going to get too long. If you've hung around this long, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate it if you subscribed and liked this one. And if you would, I'm going to go on to part 2, where I'm going to start on this side of the gallery. With the Pro 1000, 4000, the uplift desk I have, some of the lighting I have here, what I use for webcam, and jump on over to all the stuff that I have packed in the bag for the trip. So if you would, just go ahead and click on part 2, the link for part 2, or let it run out. I think it'll go to part 2. Anyway, see you over on part 2.